Hello folks, graduation ceremonies, award ceremonies are in full swing at the moment. A lot of schools doing it highly successfully online, given the current circumstances. So I'm going to share with you a few tips for our experience in terms of using Google Meet. So why do we use Meet? Well, we're a G Suite school, so it's part of our workflow. So that's why we wouldn't use something like Microsoft Teams, because we don't have the user account set up. And we don't use Zoom because it's limited to 100 participants on the free tier, whereas with Meet it was 250 participants, so it made more sense for us to go with that. They're all very good products, so whatever your school has been using by and large is probably going to be what you want to go with. So a couple of tips on using Meet. Firstly, Meet in terms of permissions and control of users in a meeting probably isn't as advanced as some of the other platforms. So even so much so that last month there was a scenario where by default domain users could remove any other domain user or mute them. So students were removing teachers from meetings and chaos ensued. So Google have revised the permissions on it. So now only the meeting creator can mute and remove users. Now if you're having a large meeting like a graduation, this can be a bit of an issue if you want a team of moderators just keeping an eye on muted mics and video. So how do you get around this? And you get around it by logging in the meeting creator multiple times on multiple different laptops, which you can do. So if you create a generic account like meet@yourdomain.com and use that to create the meeting, you can log that into 4 or 5 different laptops, and each of those laptops will have the ability then to block or mute users. Now this leads me on to the next issue around Hangouts, is that if you remove someone who's a domain user, then they can just come back in. So the workaround that we have there, you may not need it, and you probably won't, but if you did, you can install the G Suite admin tool on a phone, have it at the ready. If there is a student that you need to remove, just go in and suspend their account and then kick them from the meeting, and once their account is suspended, they cannot get back into the meeting. External people, when they try and join the meeting, you'll get a prompt, so the meeting creator, the team of moderators, can decide if external users are getting in or not. Unfortunately, to my knowledge, there isn't a way you can pre-vet the cameras on external users, so for our ceremonies we didn't have any external users. We only had domain users, because then they have to log in with their own accounts, and you can track them in terms of accountability. The last thing is in terms of creating the Google Meet. You have a couple of options there. You can create a calendar event and then add the conferencing as an option there. Secondly, you can go to meet.google.com to generate a meeting code. Now there are 2 styles of meeting that you can generate. One, if you generate a normal meeting link that is perpetual, it becomes active and students and staff can come and go. Now only the person who creates it has the ability to remove and mute users. But if you use a nickname to create the meeting, then no one else can join it until the meeting creator joins it, and it will cease to exist when the meeting creator leaves. So I hope there's some tips there that could be of use to you, and if you have any questions, please let me know.